Welcome to Your Mac Life show, 1048 for Wednesday, April the 8th, 2015. Thank you for joining us. This week we'll be talking, as always, with Jim Dalrymple. Well, I won't be, but Shawn will be. From Jim from The Loop at loopinsight.com, discussing the new Apple Watch, to buy or not to buy. That is the question, and it's definitely a question I'll be considering. And on that note, I'll be starting a segment called Kim's Quirky Questions. So we'll talk about also Capture Pro in the photography portion with Shawn. And this week is the second week of April's prize giveaway. And I've decided to give away as a second prize is 1password.com. Their program that they very kindly donated as a gift for April's giveaways. So now, here is your host, the ever-ready, just like a bunny, Shawn King.
Oh, ever-ready bunny, I get it. Oh, man. You gotta get better writers. Yes, folks, thanks very much. We're not going to have Kim on camera because for some bizarre... technology that just works, except for when it doesn't. For a half hour during the pre-show, we had Kim on camera. No problems. And then, for no apparent reason, my iPhone suddenly can't see AirPlay. It won't AirPlay to my laptop anymore. Why not? And nothing happened. We were just sitting here, boink. It just went south on me. I hate that. Some of you are also going to notice I'm talking funny. I've got a tooth that's trying to alien its way out of my skull. It's like I'm all snaggletooth. Hopefully it's coming out on Monday. Until then, it hurts like hell. Yes, as Kim said, we're going to be talking on the Starting Point Photography segment about the Capture Pro device. I used this over the weekend for a couple of photo shoots I went on. Interesting. There's good and bad about it, and we'll talk about that later on. Kim's, as she said, going to be giving stuff away. What did you do this Easter weekend? Do you celebrate Easter? Celebrate in the, I guess, religious sense? Is what I'm thinking of. We used to when I was a kid. I know when we were kids, we would. No, we didn't celebrate. We would go to Easter services, but it was a cool Baptist church, so we loved going to church when we were kids. And then we would get the Easter bunny and the chocolate Easter eggs. Kim, you had this funny thing about you guys didn't like or get Easter bunnies when you were kids, right?
No, we get Easter eggs.
And you like the eggs better. Why?
Just because they seem to be bigger, like the big hollow chocolate Easter eggs, and then inside the chocolate Easter egg is the bag of more chocolate. And I love Cadbury's, so.
So why wouldn't you want the solid chocolate Easter bunny? You get more chocolate that way.
Yeah, but then you get in a bit of a mess with it.
Siri, just for no apparent reason, just woke up. Hang on a second. Let me shut Siri up. Air display won't work. Siri will. Oh,
demanding woman is Siri.
But I would have assumed that having a whole chocolate bunny is better than a hollow egg.
Yeah, maybe, but we just didn't have those back then. It was all eggs. Eggs and filled with chocolate buttons normally. So it's just chocolate filled with chocolate.
Chocolate buttons like Hershey Kisses?
No, like Cadbury's chocolate buttons.
But I mean that kind of shape, that kind of size?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you do Easter egg hunts and searches and painting shells and all that kind of stuff?
No, we painted eggs. Yeah. But we didn't do the Easter egg hunt, not that I remember as a kid, as much as they do here in North America.
What about, did you get presents?
No.
We got presents when we were kids if we'd done well in school up until that point in time.
Yeah, we used to get maybe a new outfit because it was like Easter, spring, so might get a new outfit for Easter.
That was definitely the time of year when a lot of kids, not me unfortunately, but a lot of kids in our neighborhood would get new bikes.
Oh,
it
nice.
was springtime, and that was when you were good in school. That was the time you got new bikes.
Get a new chopper with tassels on your handlebars.
And the banana seat.
Yeah, nice.
I never had one of those. So this weekend, we had quite a bit of adventuring.
Yes, we did.
What did we do?
We did a lot.
What did we do?
I got my hair colored on Friday.
And let's talk about that. I had to pay for your hair coloring, which I don't mind. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, the audience donates money to subscribe to Your Mac Life. for 2, 5, 10, 15 bucks a month, whatever it is, and I use that money for Kim's hair color. But I don't think it's fair. And audience, weigh in on this. I paid for the hair coloring. So shouldn't I get to choose what color it is? That seems fair to me.
No, I'm the one that's got to wear it on my head. So
Okay, yeah.
you're stuck with the blonde highlights.
Still, I think I should have more of a say.
No.
No? All right.
Because your say would have been red. I don't want to be a redhead.
Brian Monroe agrees with me. Yes, I do think you should choose.
No,
Monty says you can choose the color of your hair, Shawn. It's gray. Mother Nature has chosen the color of my hair. So she buys you a motorcycle. Do you get to choose the color? If you're buying someone else a vehicle, well, no, because it would be a surprise then.
No.
Anyway, so okay, you get your hair colored. What else?
That was Friday. Saturday we went and did the photo shoot at Fan Expo.
We had 2 photo shoots.
And the big, massive pillow fight in
fun.
Vancouver. Yes, it was.
Fan Expo was kind of cool. I don't really get the whole dressing up in costume thing, only because when I was a kid, we didn't dress up. We did, but not very much or very well. And I'm not a comic book guy. But some of the costumes were great.
Awesome.
Some of them really. I wish I had thought about it, but I haven't gotten my pictures.
Oh yeah, we could have posted.
Yeah, I
some
haven't
up.
edited any of the pictures. Some of them were really lame, but a lot of them were really, really good.
Yeah.
I found out later, we didn't recognize a lot of the characters because we are not game players. I didn't realize that so many of the characters that we saw on Saturday were from various games. God of War and things like that, the games I haven't played. We recognize the usual Star Wars and Star Trek characters. The cutest, saddest one was the little boy in the Darth Vader outfit. And he looked really, really cute. Except his brother, I think they were twins, weren't they?
Were they twins?
Well,
I couldn't tell because you couldn't see.
But they were the same height, if nothing else. So his brother was dressed as either Luke Skywalker probably Luke Skywalker. But because the Darth Vader outfit was so cute, everyone was taking pictures of the Darth Vader kid, and the poor Luke Skywalker kid, everyone was ignoring. I felt bad for the Luke Skywalker kid. I think parents should have taken that into consideration and had both kids dressed up as Darth Vaders, because the other poor little kid, you could see the little sadness on his face. No one wanted to take his picture. I think the oddest costume, and odd, not in the typical way, was someone came dressed, a very pretty girl, dressed as Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And she was by herself. If you're dressed as Belle from Beauty and the Beast, shouldn't you have a beast with you?
Beast with you. Well, maybe he was meeting her later.
Could be. How about you? Which ones did you like or think were odd or caught your eye?
I really like the Assassin's Creed guy because my son plays all the Assassin's Creed games, and I like the historical and the flowing capes and things that they wear. And the Jack Sparrow, the pirate Jack Sprat. Yeah, he was good.
He came down the escalator drunk.
Yes, he did. He was playing the part very well.
He was in character the whole time. It was very good.
Yeah.
But it was always fun. And then we went to the 10th annual, I did not know this, 10th annual Vancouver Pillow Fight.
Yes. But it would have been better had they all been compulsory feather pillows.
I know. The people kept bringing, I say, but 90% of the pillows were polyester. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of boring.
Yeah, they kind of stay together a little bit too easy.
Yeah, they don't fly in the air.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it a disappointment. It was fun. And it was good to see that the spirit of friendly pillow fighting was in evidence. There wasn't a lot of people just wailing away in anger.
No, and there was all ages.
Yeah, they're little kids or they're adults or all kinds.
Yeah.
At one point, though, there were more photographers than there were pillow fighters.
Yeah, it seemed that way.
It was that was kind of funny.
What was that? That was Saturday. Sunday, we went for a bike ride. Mm-hmm. Me on my bike, you on yours, and we went for a gelato.
And your bike tried to shake itself to death.
It did, and my foot pegs are loose, and my wing mirror dropped. It's like, oh, God. So now I have to Loctite the hell out of everything.
How did it feel, your first long trip on your bike this
year.
year?
It was good. Bit rusty to start with, but then no, it was good. By the time we got to head back, I felt better.
Good.
And then Sunday, we had Sunday Easter dinner with...
Hang on, back up.
What did we do?
We went to the gelato place, and you'd never had gelato before.
No, I don't think I had.
Really?
No. It's like more... How can I describe it? It's like ice cream with a hint of bubblegum in it. It's kind of more chewy. It's like chewy ice cream. Well, it's not as icy, but it's more chewy. Yeah.
I think of it as just being creamier.
Yeah, but it's kind of a bit gooier as well.
Okay.
Gooier, chewier. Yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you had never had gelato before.
No, I don't think I have.
It was very good. It was, oh, crap, what's the name of the place?
Can't remember.
It was in Port Coquitlam.
Yeah. Can't remember now. Sorry. So that was Sunday. We had Easter dinner with Brian and Norma.
A very yummy Easter dinner.
Old English couple that live in Hope. And then Monday, you took me down to Richmond, BC, and we went go-kart racing.
Woohoo!
And next time we go, I am going to kick your ass.
I'm sorry, you're saying you didn't kick my ass this time around?
No, I tried, but not enough laps.
Not enough laps.
Right.
Is that what you're
I
saying?
was getting there. I was getting used to the cart
Uh-huh.
and the drifting.
So explain why I passed you.
You're fortunate.
Oh, then it was just luck that I passed you.
Yeah.
Wasn't skill.
No.
Wasn't that I was a better driver.
If you had skill, how come you couldn't get past the other two that you were bitching about?
Because they were blocking
later?
the track and I didn't want to run them off the road.
Exactly.
A couple little Asian girls like, get out of the way. I have here the race results. It was eight laps that we managed to do. Our first laps, both Kim and I went around at about 53 seconds. 53.1 for Kim and 52.7 for me in our first lap. In our second lap, you got better by 10 seconds. 9.5 seconds, 43.5. I got significantly better at more than 12 seconds. Your fastest lap was 40. So you were consistent. You were consistently in the 40s. 43, 41. Your best lap was 40.5. Pretty good. I was all over the place. I had a 53-second lap and along with a 35-second lap.
It's called erratic.
Not erratic. Those are the laps when I was behind somebody who wouldn't get out of the way. So overall, you came 6th and I came 7th. Sorry, 2nd in our racing. It was fun.
It was.
I was surprised how quick those carts were.
Very. 70 kilometers an hour.
Maximum speed, 70 kilometers an hour. And the steering is very twitchy. I mean, literally, I'm assuming this is race car steering. So to turn a full 180 degrees is literally you move the wheel that much.
Yeah.
And the thing just goes. And once you got used to it, and I got used to it faster than Kim did, you could drift around corners, which is really fun.
Yeah.
You could just go full bore into a corner, and then as you got to the apex of the corner, just torque the wheel over, and the ass end would slide out, and it would come back in. And that's how I was able to catch you, because I got the hang of the drifting faster than you did. And then you didn't block me. I was surprised. I was fully expecting you to block me.
Because it said no bumping allowed.
I thought you were going to move in. I don't think you could see me. I don't think you knew
I couldn't see you, and you caught up with me faster than I thought you would.
No.
Next time.
We're definitely going again.
Yes.
If you get a chance, folks, if you're in the Vancouver area, if you're in Richmond, go to, it is called TBCIR, which is a terrible name. TBC Indoor Kart Racing. Kart with a K. Open every day of the week, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. They got some good deals, too. We're going to go on one race that is a 30-minute race for only $40.
Yeah.
Even what we had a couple of Groupons, so it was only $10 a race for each of us. And we got 8 laps. So, less than $1 a lap, that's not bad. That's not bad. That was fun. TBCIR.ca is the website. Thanks for Brian Monroe for that. So yeah, later on the show, we're going to be talking about the Capture Pro device from the nice folks at Peak Design. I use this on the photo shoots this weekend. We'll talk about the good and bad of this. Kim, you've got a new segment called
Kim's Quirky Questions.
That should be interesting. We're also going to be giving away a copy of Agile Bit's 1Password to a lucky listener. Don't forget, go to the website at yourmaclifeshow.com, and right there on the top of the page, you can fill out an entry form, Friends of Your Mac Life. And that entry form sends me an email, and we drop your name into a virtual hat, and then later on the show, we'll draw a name from that virtual hat. Or we would definitely prefer, you subscribe to Your Mac Life for $2, $5, $10, $15, whatever it is, a month you would like to do. Comes out of your major credit card or your PayPal account each month, sends me that money, and I enter your name into the draw on your behalf. And you also get extra entries for every $2 above the original $2 you subscribe. So that's a way to get more entries and a better chance of winning on the show. So we're also going to be talking up next, to our good friend Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com about, well, what else? There's really only one story today, and that is the Apple Watch. All that and much more coming up. This is Your Mac Life.
Your Mac Life.
Welcome back, folks. This is Your Mac Life. I am Shawn King. In our phone, we've got our good friend Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com. Jim, how you doing?
Doing good, Shawn. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very sad, though. I'm so sad.
Why is that?
Because you didn't get an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Why did you not get an Apple Watch? I need an explanation from either you or Tim Cook.
Well, I don't know.
What the hell, man? Jeez. I was looking forward to seeing what you were going to say about the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. It's just not fair. I'm just saying.
There's got to be some kind of massive Twitter campaign or something.
I think there is. I've seen it. Hashtag give Jim an Apple Watch. Someone's already started that up. I think it's a good idea.
I had to make that point clear this morning when I posted, the brutal comments from Apple Watch things that I had no way to verify these one way or another.
Yeah.
That could very well be true, or the reviewers could be full of crap. I don't know. But I did link to Gruber's review, which I thought was probably the best one that I read.
I don't know if you know him. He's been around for quite a while. Addy Kingsley over at ZDNet said, with regards to the reviews, that there was nothing surprising from the usual suspects who get pre-release Apple stuff. Just the normal nodding yes men. Do you agree with that statement?
No, I don't.
I
don't. I thought that these reviews were probably harsher than most first product reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Apple hasn't had the chance to work out some of the kinks and things like that. So I thought the reviews were very honest. You know, there were some problems, and you know, they laid them out there. That's what a review is supposed to be.
Does it feel like there are more kinks to the Apple Watch on its first version than there were on the iPhone in 2007?
Different products.
Yeah.
You know, the phone, while it did, you know, open up a brand new category, people had expectations of what a phone would do. I don't think anybody really has any expectations about what a watch will do.
Mm.
And whatever expectations they may have is based on, you know, what's been released in the past year or two, and that hasn't been real good. So, you know, Apple has big shoes to fill only because it made those shoes. You know, it told people what it planned on doing, and they showed it, and this is what we expect. So, you know, they made the bed, and now they're getting the product out there and see if they can live up to it.
Did you, in your reading of the reviews, did you learn anything about the Apple Watch you didn't know beforehand?
It's a good question. I don't really think so. I mean, there might be little details or something, you know, some things that I never thought of. Like Gruber said, he was sitting at a bar having a cup of coffee, and his wrist was already pointing up. So when he went to look at the time, he didn't go through that motion of looking at it. Like you would move the watch to look at it, and the light would come on, or the screen would light up. So he had to jerk his wrist around in order to make it light up for him.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that. So, you know, that's a possibility. Or when you're typing at the keyboard and you look down to see your watch. If you have an analog watch, you're going to be able to see what time it is. But with the Apple Watch, you won't be able to see. You'll have to jerk your wrist again.
The Verge.
Those things are not major problems. Those things are annoyances.
The Verge's review, I could not believe that Nilay Patel, who's usually a pretty with it kind of guy, complained that the watch isn't a product you can use single-handedly.
What?
That's the dumbest thing I think I've heard in a long time, that you can't use the Apple Watch single-handedly. In fact, you can, Nilay. It's a watch. You only can use it one-handed. You can't use it two-handed.
Well, you know, if you want to respond or you want to interact with the watch, you need two hands. But
Arcsign says, ask Jim if he thinks more fashion people got an Apple Watch to review but will be publishing later, print or online.
I can't imagine that anybody that got a watch didn't post their review.
That's right.
You know, the only fashion people that I saw that really wrote anything was Style magazine. Yeah. And the woman in there even said that she wasn't qualified to write it. So
yeah, exactly.
Did others fashionistas get a watch? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that they probably did, but Apple would not expect a review from those types of people. Any organization, news, you know, magazine type place, if they had one, they would have posted. I mean, the only one, if you think back, the only person to ever hold back on a review has been Gruber.
Yeah.
You know, watches or phones will be released, or iPads, and people will all post their reviews. And then, you know, a few hours later, Gruber will wake up and post his.
And that's the thing about the online community and the online reviews, that you want them to go up immediately in order to capture the buzz. I don't see the point of that, because your review might get lost in the 10,000 other reviews that are all happening the same day. I can see you doing it a week later.
Well, it was interesting this morning because about an hour after all the reviews posted, giving people the time to read, I started receiving emails and posts on Twitter. Only one more review to read, Jim's. And, after I received, all of a sudden there was just a flood of emails and private messages. So I had to, respond in some way just to let people know that, no, you won't be getting one from me today. So, yeah, I think, people know who to expect to go to. And, they like, one person said today that my use case for these products is very similar to his, and that's why he likes reading mine. I'm sure that's true of a lot of people. I don't tend to do reviews based on, I'll turn this on for 20 hours straight and see what happens. I could care less about that. I like to do, real life type reviews. So
I think it also takes the pressure off you too. I mean, to get it out with everybody else. At least now you can take your time and have a real world experience with the Apple Watch as opposed to, having to hide it. First of all, that's what all the reviewers had to do. You weren't allowed to show people in your work or in the restaurant that you were using an Apple Watch.
Well, the other thing, to be perfectly honest, is that I don't have to post a review if I don't want to.
Sure.
I mean, I can just get one or not get one. Doesn't matter.
Marcus says there are basically two kinds of reviews. The ones that praise the watch for not being an iPhone you strap to your wrist, and the ones complaining about the watch not being an iPhone you strap to your wrist.
Yeah. Well, I think with a new product category, having reviewed a lot of Apple products over the years, one of the hardest things that you have to try and get your mindset in doing a review is to just open it up, open your mind and say, okay, this is a brand new product. How am I going to use this?
Yeah.
And can I use it? I mean, is the review basically, nice idea, but I didn't find any way to really fit this into my lifestyle, which is my big thing.
Yeah. Or
is the review, after, you can't, I don't decide beforehand. Some people may. I start using it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's not my fault. That's the product's fault. So maybe the product wasn't meant for me. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Don't know. But that's the way I go about doing the reviews. And, if I get an Apple Watch and I do a review, I write something, that's how I'll approach it. And, if you go in thinking that the Apple Watch should be something of an iPhone, then you're screwed even before you start.
Yeah.
And that's no way to do a review of anything. And that's why I'm very choosy about the products that I choose to review, because I don't have to write reviews. A lot of sites, part of their thing is doing reviews. I don't have to. So I write reviews on things that I want to write about, good or bad, guitar stuff or whatever. I want to write about that, so I do. So if I get an Apple Watch and I decide to review it, I'll just go into it like that. I'll put it on and see how it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well.
One of the things I got from the reviews was an interesting tone of some folks complaining about the fact, I think Joanna Stern was the one that complained the most about how there was too steep a learning curve for the Apple Watch. But others pointed out that it's not a learning curve so much as it's a discovery curve, in that you learn what the Apple Watch can do. This is a brand new device. This is a category of, yes, there have been smartwatches around before, but none of them have been anything like the Apple Watch. So as opposed to a learning curve, you need to discover the Apple Watch. I think is a more interesting, certainly, I don't necessarily know if it's true, a more interesting way of looking at that term learning curve.
Well, there's always going to be a learning curve. And, you'll notice that some people, not mentioning any names, John Syracuse, can write, 80,000 words on an OS release.
Yeah.
And other people, like me, choose not to.
Yeah.
And, we do it. John can sit there and take apart an OS like nobody else. Nobody. He just, it's good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This part's great, this part really sucks, and here's why, and, they should have done it like this. I do not have the patience to sit down with an iOS or OS 10 and do that.
No.
I would shoot myself if I had to do that. So I choose to do the reviews the way that I do them because it's real life stuff.
Yeah.
The way John does them is not real life, but he gets more detail than anybody else anywhere, and people love him for it.
Sure.
I respect the hell out of him for it because I wouldn't be able to do it. If I was at a local coffee shop or something, I'd jump in front of a bus. I could not do it.
No.
So, and that's why having different types of people review these things is good.
Sure.
I was surprised that there wasn't more focus on fitness.
So was I. I thought it was interesting too, and I actually asked some people why they didn't do that, and mostly it's because they're geeks. They don't do anything about fitness. I think we'll have to wait for, say, the fitness magazine guys to weigh in on those. I don't remember seeing any of the reviews from the fitness folks. Maybe they have to go and buy their own, but I'm looking forward to seeing how those folks review it. I did find out, though, from a reviewer that we talked about this on the show last week. One of the problems with a lot of the fitness apps that you can get on the iPhone. I use Pedometer Plus. I use Moves. I even use the Health app. If you don't tell those apps about yourself physically, how tall you are, how much you weigh, they can't do an accurate assessment of your walking distance. All they're doing is sort of guessing. But the Apple Watch...
They're all just guessing.
Exactly. But the Apple Watch asks you for that data. The Apple Watch app on your iPhone asks you for your data.
And so does HealthKit.
Does HealthKit? I don't remember putting that in HealthKit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
HealthKit asks you to.
So it'll obviously take that data from there. So in theory, the Apple Watch should be more accurate, if nothing else, when it comes to your fitness levels.
I agree. And, it's funny because I was talking to people today on Twitter about Fitbit and some of these Nike Fuel Band and, asked people, because I was at a store this afternoon and I saw the Fitbit Charge HR.
Yeah.
So I asked people if they've used it. And, there were good and bad comments about all kinds of as you would expect. And Peter Haw, who's a freelance writer, he used to write for TechCrunch and Time and all kinds of places.
Mm-hmm.
Peter sent me a link to something that he did back in 2014. Doesn't seem that long ago, but when you say back in, it gives you the impression it is. Where they put 3 different bands on their wrist. I think a Jawbone, a Nike Fuel, and a Fitbit, and then walked. And they all gave them different readings.
Yep.
So, and Peter's right. What he said is that in the story, the people should use this as an approximation.
Yeah.
And that's how I would use it. I don't expect it's going to tell me exactly to the number what calories I burn. But if I get, if it's 30 and that I actually burned and whatever device says it's 25 or 27, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the Nike Fuel Band was off by 20% in the step. Yeah. 20% is a lot. The other ones were over by a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but not 20%.
Dave D in the IRC chat room says fitness. Ew, that means exercise. It doesn't actually though, does it, Jim? You've been getting fit. You've lost a lot of weight over the last 6 months, and you're not exercising. You're not lifting weights or going to a gym, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm walking. But the thing that I've learned over the past year or 6-8 months is that there's a fitness part to just getting up and walking around.
Yeah.
And little did I know how much I actually get up and walk around. That's an important part, of everybody's day. So when I look at how much I'm walking on a daily basis, and then I add in, I don't know, 2 to 4 miles of actual physical exercise walking, at a brisk pace, that all adds up. And that adds on to your activity. So, it's not about going for a jog. To me, it's not about going for a jog or lifting 100 pounds of weights 300 times and doing that for 2 hours, or, that's not what it is for me.
Yeah, it's important that folks realize that fitness just means getting up and moving around, just making sure that you move your body. It doesn't mean that you have to get up and push a lot of weight and do that kind of stuff.
Exactly right.
One of the interesting things I found about the Apple Watch reviews that I read, I think Ben Bajarin over at Tech Pinions was the one who said it the best, was that it's letting him use his iPhone a lot less. Very much like when the iPad came out, I said the same thing, that the iPad let me use my iPhone a whole lot less than I was using before. Same sort of thing with the Apple Watch for Ben. He said the same thing, that he wasn't using the iPhone nearly as much because of the notifications. But I thought it was kind of interesting too.
Well, there are going to be certain things that, there are going to be people that get the Apple Watch and they're going to use it and they're going to say, this sucks.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And there are going to be other people that get it and say, wow, this is great. I don't use my phone as much. I get the notifications on my wrist. I can make phone calls. I can do all of this stuff that I normally had to take my phone out for. And now I just do it, very easily and simply on my wrist. And they're going to love it for that. The question is, what percentage of each of those groups are people going to fall into? If there's a higher percentage of, I love it, then it's going to be successful. If there's a higher percentage of, this is annoying, then it's not. And that's where Apple is right now. This is a brand new category, brand new product. And I wrote a story for the magazine that I just posted online today. What are the chances of the Apple Watch's success? And basically, for me, it boils down to, if you see somebody that is wearing their Apple Watch a month, 3 months, 6 months from the time they bought it, then it's successful. If they take it off after a week, after the novelty wears off, not successful. Sales numbers, all of that kind of stuff, you need long-term sales. 1 weekend of sales is not going to make the Apple Watch successful.
I saw Ben Bajarin again this morning say that the addressable market, what he calls the TAM, the total addressable market for the Apple Watch, is 450 million people. That's how many people have iPhones that are capable of using the Apple Watch. Obviously,
right.
Not every single person who has an iPhone will get an Apple Watch, but that's a pretty good-sized market for Apple, isn't it? I mean, that's a lot of people who have the potential to buy an Apple Watch. This is not going to be the Cube. This is not going to be the Newton. This is going to be a successful product for Apple.
Right. I think it will be. You know, having said what I did before about its chances of success, I think that it will be a successful product for Apple. The question that remains is long term.
Yeah.
What is the long term success for Apple? Will it be successful in getting people to upgrade their phones to one that's capable? Will people want an Apple Watch but not an iPhone? You know, what kind of things are we going to see in the future that are going to come out of this release? And there's so many things that we just don't know. Is it going to fall somewhere between an iconic iPod per sales and the iPad, or will it be more like the iPhone? Will it be less than the iPad? Is that still successful?
Yeah.
You know, so many questions. The price point isn't bad, so you can't say that, you know, price is going to be that much of a consideration for people. They buy iPads, they buy iPhones, they buy iPods. $349 is not, you know, crazy, wacky pricing. That's a good price, I think.
There was a guy on Twitter today. He said, if $350 for a watch, it better be able to stop a bullet. Dude, you've never shopped for watches before, have you? This is the cheapest product Apple has ever sold. This is the cheapest computer Apple has ever sold. I mean, what more do you want? You whiny bitches.
Well, I mean, you know, and I don't say this in a negative way, but he shops for, you know, Citizen or Casio watches at a store that you can buy them for $50.
Exactly.
And you know, in all fairness to those watches, they'll probably last a decade. You know, because they always did. So, you know, for those people, the Apple Watch is not for them. The Apple Watch is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like an iPod where everybody wants to listen to music, or you know, an iPhone where people will trade in a brand new iPhone just to get the newest one because it has a bezel around the edge.
Yeah.
You know, and those people easily will spend $500 or $600 on a new iPhone just to have that newest one.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's going to be interesting is the next version. I think a lot of folks are holding back on this first version. I think also very much like the original iPod and the original iPhone, because they want to know what's going to happen next. People are always going to wait for the next great thing. I'm very curious to see what the second version of the Apple Watch is going to be from the point of view of what will this watch, the folks that people buy on April 24th, what will this watch be able to do in future versions, obviously via a software upgrade? I think a lot of folks are waiting for that. I think that's going to hold this first version back. They're going to sell a lot, but I think a lot of folks are going to hold back. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to see what. Because as Dave D says in the IRC chat room, people keep thinking it's a watch. He said it's not a watch, and that's what we have. That's the mindset we have to get away from. It's just like the iPhone wasn't a phone. And the original iPhone actually was a shitty phone, probably one of the worst phones out there. We have to get in the mindset that this thing is a little teeny tiny computer on your wrist that can do some really amazing things. Again, I go back to Ben Bajarin over at Tech Pinions, and his idea of, he wrote in his column this morning, when your iPhone beeps and buzzes and makes all that noise, you don't know whether that thing is important. You don't know whether or not what that bing was it your kids texting you, or was it just somebody on Twitter? You don't know. You have to pick up the iPhone, you have to take it out of your pocket, you have to do something with it. But because of the notification systems on the Apple Watch and the way you can tailor them to your settings, you can set it up, and like Ben said, he's at his kid's tennis game, and if his watch bings, he knows it's important. He knows it's his wife or his boss or his dad or something like that. He can ignore the phone 99% of the time if it makes any noises. I think that's going to be really interesting, and from what I've read from a lot of the reviews, the folks who get that concept are saying it's actually freeing them from their checking their iPhone all the time. They're not taking their iPhone out of their pocket constantly, checking for messages that may or may not be important. The watch is doing that for them.
You have to remember as well that if you allow notifications for every little thing on your phone to go to your watch, you're going to be checking your watch just as much as you're checking your phone.
Yeah.
If you can, say notifications, I want, text messages and, particularly these ones, I don't want mail messages and I don't want, Twitter. Well, then you get that tactic response from your watch, you're going to know it's something that you want to see.
Yeah.
So for people that just allow everything through, I don't think that they'd be using it right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong because clearly, I haven't used one for a long time, so maybe I don't know either. But that's just how I feel about it with the time that I did have with it.
Has any of this review stuff changed your mind about which Apple Watch you're going to be getting on the 24th that you're going to personally buy?
No.
You're still going for
nothing that really.
You're still going for stainless steel Milanese loop, right?
Yeah.
I just can't see you with a Milanese loop, dude. You don't seem like the Milanese loop kind of guy.
Why?
Because the Milanese loop is, for lack of a better term, classy. You not so much.
I want a whole suit made out of the Milanese loop.
That's called chainmail, you dumbass.
I know.
Well, I am looking forward to when you get your Apple Watch on the 24th, a real world review from you, and hopefully we'll see. Hopefully you'll desire to write one up on the loop, because I think that is interesting. You're right. The Syracuse interviews have their place, but the real world stuff is interesting too. So I'm looking forward to reading yours. Folks, been talking to Jim Dalrymple on the Loop at loopinsight.com. He's up on the website, loopinsight.com, and he does the podcast Amplified with Dan Benjamin. You can check it out on the iTunes Store or at 5by5.tv/amplified. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Shawn.
Have a good night. See ya.
Bye.
Did I just turn me down? Hello. Oh, I got those set up wrong. Huh. I don't know what the hell happened there. I don't know, folks. I think we've got you back on video, but only. I don't know how this is going to work. Where's Kim? Hang on. So show in broadcast. Okay, Kim, you say something.
Hello?
Didn't
Can
work.
you see me, hear me?
There we go. Okay, now I can, but it's not going to show up in the. Yeah. So for you folks who are listening to the archive, you're not going to see Kim. I've got her in Google Hangouts, but my system doesn't record Google Hangouts. It records Wire. Never mind.
It sounds completely gobbledygook to me.
Never mind. Don't worry.
You got me on some Google Hangout.
In our starting point photography segment, the nice folks at Peak Design. Let me get the website pulled up for you. Hang on a second. Command L, Peak Design. Peakdesign.com is the website. They make a whole bunch of really cool camera gear, accessories for DSLRs. Their stuff works for point and shoots, but right now they've got the Capture Pro camera clip. See if I can bring this up for you guys. Camera clips. This is really interesting. When I saw this on their website, I asked them to send me a review unit of this thing. So I wanted to see how it worked, how it could. I've told people before, I don't like the camera strap that goes around your neck, the one that came with your camera. Why are you waving?
To Dave.
Why the hell are you waving to Dave?
Because he said something.
We're doing a show here.
Sorry.
So they sent me this thing, and like I said, I don't like the loop that came with your camera again. I used to use a Black Rapid strap that went around your torso, and I've been recently using the loop or a loop from. Crap, I've forgotten their name. They're a company in Portland, Oregon. Crap, I forgot their name. Anyway, so I'm interested in loops. So this thing is not a loop. This thing attaches to a loop, or attaches to a backpack, or it attaches to a belt loop. That's the way I had mine set up over the weekend. So there you have these two screws. Get this full video. You can see on the video there are two largish screws that you manipulate to loosen and tighten the strap. Sorry, the Capture Pro to your belt, to your backpack, to your strap, whatever it might be. It did a good job. It was. I'll give it this. It was very, very tight. So you tighten and loosen these things, and it pops up like this. So it slides onto your backpack or your a belt or some sort of strap. I wore this all day on Saturday, and there was no danger of this thing sliding off. I had no concern about this section sliding off of my belt. It was doggone good and tight. It never came loose. It didn't get these screws I'm turning never felt like they were getting loose or anything else like that. So that was a very good thing. So the other part of it is on the bottom of your camera, you're going to have the typical looking tripod mount. This is a special one. This is not a tripod mount. This is a Capture Pro tripod mount. And what happens is, you see the silver bits in the center. That mount goes in there, and you'll hear this. Hang on. Did I do that right? I guess I'm not doing it right. There we go. Click. And it clicks in there tight. It is not moving. It was something that we talked about a couple shows ago. People were worried about, attaching $2,500 of camera gear to a $100 piece of metal. I never had any thought or problem that this was going to come loose from my belt. Never worried about it at all. You could always feel it on your belt, so it's hanging off your belt like that, or for me, it was hanging off my belt like this. So if you imagine, yes. So I had it like this. So imagine my belt loop is going this way, and I had this hanging off my belt loop. It was a little uncomfortable at first because you all of a sudden get all this weight. I think this is probably about 4 pounds. You have all this weight pulling down on your belt, but you got used to it fairly quickly. And there was enough play. I left enough slack in the screws to be able to slide it around. So if I had to bend over, I would just slide it off to the right. Or I was more comfortable walking with it when it was closer to the center of my body. The red bit there is the quick release button. It's real simple. Real easy to put it on and put it off with the quick release button. And one of the photographers that was with us on the Fan Expo said, I'd be worried about pushing that button accidentally. The Peak Design folks have thought about this. And what they've done is you simply turn this knob a quarter turn and it will not release. You can't push it and have that come off. So that's a very clever design on their part. For those folks who are worried about this thing being accidentally depressed. I never had a problem with it accidentally depressing. I never actually locked it when I was wandering around with it over the weekend. It's made out of good quality metal. This is not this bit is not plastic in any way, shape, or form. The knobs and buttons are, but the rest of it is steel. Is good quality, seemingly good quality metal. I had no worries about this thing fraying or breaking and things like that. Interestingly enough, the first thing I noticed with the Camera Pro, by the way, it's also got a tripod mount on the bottom of it if you wanted to lock this onto a tripod. The only issue I had with the camera clip, Capture Pro, and this is a big one too, is the fact that if you've got your camera on a loop and you let it go, it sags from your neck. If you've got it on one of the Black Rapid straps or other company straps across your body and you let it go, it hangs from your body. But when you've got this and you unhook it from the Camera Pro, now it's basically a free floating camera, which is fine if you're just in nature, just walking around. But if you're in a crowded environment, like a fan expo, I was constantly worried about someone hitting my hand and dropping my camera. It's never been a concern when I've got it on a loop. It was a big fear for me with all these people around that I've got a whole, and one of the problems is because of my motorcycle accident, this wrist, this grip strength isn't nearly as good as it used to be. Hang on. Yes, Kim? You have a question, cute girl in the back?
Yeah, I just wanted to say you could, to correct that concern you have a loose strap attached to the camera around your neck and still have it clipped on your waist
Yes.
for main
Agreed.
security.
But that kind of defeats the purpose of having one of these clips. Because if you're going to have it on a loop anyway, why don't you just keep it on the loop?
No, but what I'm saying is the idea of it being on your waist is it's not hanging from your neck.
Yes.
So if you have a loose strap, it's still not pulling on your neck and the main weight is taken by the clip.
I think what I would do is if you see on the peakdesign.com website, they have see if it pops up on their page, camera straps. Jeez. They have what they call the camera clutch, which is kind of neat. So if I can't pull this up to show you guys on the peakdesign.com website. And what the camera clutch is it is a strap that goes from the bottom of your camera to the top that you put your hand in, and then it straps over your hand. So even if you let go with your fingers, it's still holding on to there. I think that combination would be very good.
Yeah.
There would be no loop to get in the way. Because one of the problems with a loop is that your camera is now sort of swinging freely. And even when I was using the loops, I knew the idea of like bending over, and all of a sudden your camera would swing out in front of you. And I might hit the ground or might hit somebody else. The other problem with the neck loops is you're walking around with your camera sticking in front of you like a penis, bumping into people. So I like the combination of both the Capture Pro, so you can put it on your belt to get your hands free. Very easy to get to with the camera Capture Pro. But if you also had this clutch on at the same time, that would allay your fear of dropping your gear. So I would recommend this if you either didn't have the fear of someone knocking your camera out of your hand, and you should, or you also buy the clutch at the same time. I think the combination of the two, the Capture Pro and the clutch, is a really good combination. Thanks very much to the nice folks at Peak Design for sending me the Capture Pro camera clip. I'm still going to use it. I still like the idea of it. I like the idea of one of the problems we always had with the strap idea is that when you're riding a motorcycle, I can't obviously ride with the strap on. And when I got off the bike and put the strap on, now I've got my motorcycle gear and I have this strap around my neck. And there's a couple times I almost hung myself. I like the idea of the clip, but I'm worried about the thing falling out of my hand. So keep that in mind if you think about the Peak Design products. Now, you've decided that you want to do your own segment on Your Mac Life.
Yes.
And what did you want to call it?
Kim's Quirky Questions.
Now, I have a problem with that name.
Why? It's not KKK.
It sounds KKK-ish.
But it's not. It's KQQ.
It sounds awfully KKK-ish.
No. Quirky. With a Q.
Right. Okay. So what's this going to be?
It's going to be where I ask you questions that normal people, because I'm normal, might want to ask about technology, Apple products, iPhone, Twitter, emails, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. We'll see how this goes. I may not like it.
No, you may not, because you may not be able to answer the question. But some
Ooh,
of our
that'd
peeps,
be embarrassing.
some of our peeps that listen and watch us will probably be able to answer
Monty
the
and the
question.
IRC, there are normal people who listen to the show. Dave D, everything you want to know about Shawn King, but we're afraid to ask.
Yeah, there you go. Ask me and I'll ask him.
Oh, God. They could ask me. I've never been afraid to answer a question. They can ask me directly. All right, what do you got?
Okay, first question is about Apple Pay.
Okay, yeah.
How does it work? And can you use it to pay for anything or only Apple products?
That is a very good question. No, don't make a face. That's an excellent question. I think it's a fair question. A lot of folks might ask for. I'm just looking while I'm doing this. Somebody just really there we go. Pulling up on Apple's website, apple.com/Apple-Pay. Your wallet without the wallet. So the idea behind Apple Pay is that it frees you from having to carry around your credit cards in a wallet. What you do is you take your credit cards and you basically put the data from the credit card into your iPhone, into the Apple Pay app. Now, Apple Pay is right now only available in the United States. And you can buy it for anything, not just Apple products, anything, as long as the company or the store you're at supports Apple Pay.
Okay.
They have an Apple Pay terminal, not an app that doesn't have an Apple Pay. It's not a terminal from Apple, but one of their terminals, the same terminals that we use now. The advantage of Apple Pay is it's a lot more secure than either handing your credit card to a complete stranger or even using the swipe. But you have to remember that our American friends don't have the same credit card system that we do, the chip and pin. Here in Canada, we insert it into a terminal, and then we type in our PIN number. Americans don't have that.
No.
They only have here kind of thing. So it's less secure down in the States. Why are you making faces?
Because is it only, you say Apple Watch is only available in the States?
No, Apple Pay.
Apple Pay, rather. Sorry, I'm distracted.
That's okay.
And it's only credit cards. You can't use your debit card?
Correct. Now, that's going to change when it gets, because that's going to change once it comes to Canada, because it has to.
And when is that? Do we have a date?
No date. No date.
Oh, okay. Okay, having said that, now that's Apple Pay.
Yes.
There's other companies or gadgets where you can pay with your phone,
Yes.
like set up your bank account, so you could use your debit card here in Canada.
There is a competing standard called Current C. A bunch of retailers who are pissed off at the credit card companies. One of the things that people don't realize is credit card companies take a lot of money from merchants. And credit card companies put the onus of fraud prevention on the merchant, too. Credit card companies will say to a merchant, if you get X number of fraudulent, what they're called chargebacks, we'll cut you off. We won't let you use our Visa card or our MasterCard or whatever it might be. And while the customer generally isn't on the hook for any purchases made fraudulently, the merchant can be. Visa can say to the merchant, hey, you guys didn't check to make sure this was a legitimate card, so we're going to charge you for that stereo system that they stole. So merchants have always had a hate relationship with the credit card companies. So they come up with a system called Current C. That does allow you to hook your bank your bank account information to the Current C system. But the Current C system is kludgy. Instead of just swiping like you can with Apple Pay, you have to actually take a picture of a QR code on the computer. It's not as secure back and forth as Apple Pay is, and it's not going to be supported. First of all, it's not available yet, and it's probably not going to be supported by as many companies as Apple Pay is right now.
Oh, okay.
And there are other systems too. Google Wallet uses what's called NFC, which is what the Apple Pay does, near field communication. But Google Pay isn't very popular either because people who use Google phones just haven't been using it.
So Apple Pay in the States is still, again, only credit cards, not debit cards,
Correct.
not attached to your account.
And they're not loyalty cards like we have for Save on Foods. They're not rewards cards like you have for Starbucks. I think it was Brian Monroe a couple of weeks ago asked about that. And I still haven't gotten around to bringing it up, but he was saying he was wondering if Starbucks ever support Apple Pay. I don't think Starbucks will ever support Apple Pay because it's not to their advantage. From a merchant point of view, one of the disadvantages of Apple Pay is that the merchant can't capture any data about you. So they can send you coupons, so they can send you advertising, so they can do marketing at you, which, yay, that's good from a customer point of view. But Starbucks doesn't want to give up that kind of control. Starbucks knows every time I buy a latte with my Starbucks card, Starbucks knows exactly how much money I put on my Starbucks card and what frequency. They know that I haven't tried a Tavena Oprah chai tea latte. So they sent me a coupon for one of those. Piss off. I'm never going to have a Tavena Oprah chai tea latte in my life. And if you see me with one, shoot me in the head. But they can do that.
Yeah.
They can say, oh, we notice that Shawn from 2 to 5 in the afternoon often buys banana bread. So we're not going to give him a discount. We'll ask him to come in from 9 to 3 and buy banana bread, and maybe he'll get a discount. So they can tailor that kind of stuff. The other aspect of it is the Starbucks card. I give Starbucks an interest-free loan of $20 once a week. They can then use that money to get interest on, to loan out to other people, to go to a bank and say, hey, we've got X numbers of millions of dollars
Not spent yet.
Loan us money so we can build new stores. So I don't think Starbucks is ever going to support Apple Pay.
Okay.
Anything in the IRC chat room that folks are talking about?
They were talking about squirrels earlier.
That's relevant.
I squirrel. No. Okay, web cameras.
What about them?
When Apple did the initial launch about the Apple Watch,
Yes.
and the guy that came out and explained all these different apps that you will be able to put on your Apple Watch.
Yes.
For example, the one he explained where he could open his garage door and there's a camera, webcam, mounted in his garage so he can see the door go up.
Yes.
He can see his daughters riding in the door go back down. How safe are those kind of cameras?
Oh, good
Because
question.
they're connected to the internet. Can someone else hook in and see my garage or wherever I've got the webcam mounted?
In theory, yes, if that webcam is unsecured. If it's connected to the internet, it has the potential to be hacked. It's just simple as that. If some hacker wants to get at that and has enough time and smarts,
Interest.
he certainly can. There used to be a lot worse. For example, I still remember 10 years ago, you used to be able to see open Wi-Fi networks wherever you went. There was this thing called war driving, which was you would drive around in your car with your laptop open looking for Wi-Fi networks that didn't have the lock pad on them. Because most people didn't know how to do it or didn't care to do it. And you could just park in someone's driveway or park in someone's street outside their house and use their Wi-Fi. I remember doing that several times at businesses where it was like the place was closed, but I needed to use Wi-Fi, so I'd drive up and park in their parking lot and use their Wi-Fi. You rarely see that nowadays. The vast majority of Wi-Fi that I see now in the past 2-3 years have that padlock next to it. So if you've secured your webcam, if you've done something to lock down your webcam, it's harder to hack it. It's not impossible. It's harder to hack it. It also comes down to the webcam company itself, what kind of security they're using, what kind of passwords they want you to use, what kind of secured network that data is going over. But yes, it's certainly possible that someone could hack your webcam.
Because there seems to be more and more apps and programs coming out that utilize cameras, like all these pet monitoring things where, you know, you mount a couple of cameras and you can watch your dog, and people have them in the doggy daycare centers, and you can log in and view this, and there's cameras everywhere. it just makes me wonder how safe they are.
And they're only, like all security, they're only as safe as the people who are using it.
Mm.
If the company that you are dealing with wants to be tight and locked down, they can make it tight and locked down. The problem is, maybe that is inconvenient for the user, that you have to put in a 20-letter password, or use one password. Yeah. Maybe you have to use a password that's so complicated that you can't remember it, or you have to go through a bunch of hoops. And if you drive people too far towards that, they won't use it.
Yeah.
So that's the upside downside of security. Brian Monroe says the problem is that most security webcam software is made by hardware companies, so they do not do the same work on looking for bugs in their software. Good point, Brian. They are coming from a hardware perspective, so the software is normally second or the last thing to get built. That's not untrue. What else you got?
That's it for questions.
Okay, good questions. Thanks you. I appreciate that. I've also got some questions from the audience too. Questions for you, actually, young lady. Let me just pull them up. Folks, you can always send us emails to onair. Hairball onair at yourmaclifeshow.com. Our friend Gary Apter down there in Boise, Idaho. I ponder about the way the younger generation uses tech. I believe that each generation has had a similar complaint toward their younger generation. There is an analogy to popular music tastes. That's right. I wonder if they are on a bad path or just a different path. Only time will tell, and I'm not disagreeing with Kim about age limits for tech, but I guess the future will demand a tech skill level that our generation doesn't have. Get off my lawn, he says. He's right, but we have the advantage of the next generation, the generations after it, are learning this tech when they're kids. I mean, nowadays you hand a kid an iPad, he knows what to do. Mm-hmm. Now, if the tech becomes so foreign that even kids aren't using it, then maybe. But I think kids are going to use tech the way kids are going to use tech, however they want to. He also says, if you want to learn craps, let me know. I can teach you in a very short time. Dude, I want to learn craps in Boise, Idaho. I want to learn craps in Vegas. Our friend David Martin, who works for our favorite food company, says, congratulations, Shawn, on the new co-host. It's good to hear your banter with someone else in the studio again. She sounds nice, smart, and funny. Isn't Coventry the home of Jaguar?
Yes, it is.
Did I say that right?
Jaguar.
Jaguar?
Jaguar, not Jaguar.
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 I'll never get it right. Our friend Maurice Chevalier in Calgary, Alberta, Canada says, I was listening to the show and heard your comment about answering Twitter messages while you are at dinner with Kim. On this case, I will disagree with you. When I'm at dinner with Shelley, his lovely wife, she gets my undivided attention. I don't answer the phone unless it's my kids or dad, and I don't answer texts. I feel this is a very important time together, and the world can wait. I also do something similar when I'm talking to people face to face. If I get a call or a text, I ignore it. I feel that the time they have given to me is more important than a text or a phone call. Call me a little old-fashioned, but that's how I do it, and people seem to like the attention I pay to them. Great show, and say hi to Kim for me. Hi, Kim. From
Hi,
Maurice.
Thank you. Thank you, Maurice.
We had this conversation, I think yesterday, in Starbucks. And you, for the most part, agree with Maurice.
Yes.
That when you're with somebody, you shouldn't ever look at your phone.
They should be number one.
They should be number one.
Yes.
But what happens when you're with someone and you're not talking? You're both just sort of drifting off. You're eating your banana bread, or you're thinking about something else. Is it okay to lift the phone up and read Twitter messages then?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because, and I'm not disagreeing with you completely, but for me, I think of it as, where's my phone? That I'm sitting there in the room at Starbucks with Kim, But I'm also sitting there at Starbucks with everybody I know on my phone, too, who just happen to not be able to be there because of geography. I'm sitting in that room with Brian Monroe and Sly and Marcus and Lauren. And at one point, Sly might talk to me via iMessage or via Twitter or via email. And if you and I aren't actively having a conversation, then I don't see a problem with me talking to Sly for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly. But I still think if you're with a human being, you're out having a coffee, you're actually spending some social time with them.
But I'm spending social time with them on Twitter, too.
Not with the person you're sat with, you're not.
No, but I'm also spending social time with people on Twitter, too.
Yeah, but I think that should be at another time.
Yeah, see, that's where I think we differ, is that for you, those are two unequal things. Face-to-face is more important than face-to-phone. And I think, for me, my perspective is because I have so many of these people on the phone, and so few people I see in real life, that this has become equal to face-to-face. Now, I will always say that face-to-face is better. There's no doubt about that. I would much rather sit in a coffee shop with Sly than tweet to Sly.
Right.
Certainly, no doubt about that. But there are times when, due to geography, my friend Jared Earl in the UK was talking about people washing their bikes. And so I went and washed my bike today. I took a picture of me washing my bike and sent it to him. We couldn't do that face-to-face because he lives in the UK.
Yeah.
So to me, that seems to be an equal conversation. I'm not saying that this is more important than the person sitting across from. But I'm saying it can be equal. Now, I would never, if you were talking and my phone buzzed, I would never say, stop, hang on a second, and do that.
Because you get a smack around the head.
I would deservedly get a smack around the head. But if you and I have stopped talking, if we're now taking a sip of our coffee, or we're eating our banana bread, or as often happens, you and I are both looking out the window watching the bikes go by.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with
No, maybe not.
checking the lock screen and seeing someone's. And the other thing is, too, because I share this with you, too. Oh, look, so-and-so just said something funny.
Yeah, it becomes part of the conversation as well. But that's why I like the idea of what you said about the Apple Watch, where you can have it notify you. Basically, you'll know by the way it taps or buzzes or whatever it does, who's contacting you and how important it is. And you can set that level of importance.
Monty makes a good point. He says, I think there's a difference between having a conversation or answering a question and just playing on the internet. Yes, that I think would be rude. Brian Monroe, face-to-face is better, but for many of us, we will probably never meet. Dave D. Shawn, you're one step from being absorbed into the matrix. Sherry, I'm like Shawn in that way. I will go days with only seeing Carrie and my boss, so those online relationships are very important to me. Monty, I don't have a problem answering a question from someone via Twitter or iMessage if I'm on a date, but I wouldn't go read Twitter or play a game. Sly says, I agree with Kim. I can see where you might respond to a Twitter post, etc. But keeping a conversation going on text, Twitter, while you're out with someone else is a bit much. If nothing else, it's distracting. I think part of it is that because I do and can and have multitasked so well, it's less distracting for me. I mean, I've shown you that I can pick up my phone, check Twitter, respond to a tweet, even while I'm still having the same conversation with you. I'm an idiot savant when it comes to that kind of stuff. So maybe I'm different in that way, where I can pick up I can do it right now. I pick the phone up. I'm still having a conversation with you, but I'm able to go and check Twitter. And while I'm talking right now, I'm able to check my instant messages on Twitter, read those, blah, 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 you know. So maybe that's different. I don't know.
But you can't watch a TV program and have me have a conversation with you at the same time without getting pissed off.
What?
Well, you always stop a program and then rewind and start again if I start talking to you.
I didn't hear what they said on the TV.
Just checking.
Jason Painter, chocolate. Big topic. That's a specialty for me. Well, yeah, I can already read this one. Did we? For being in a fellow anglicized country, he's down in Australia, I'm surprised that you didn't know about the Curly Whirly. We don't have Curly Whirly in Canada in our regular chocolate.
Not normally. We're
Not
starting
normally,
to
no.
get them now. Yeah.
It's delicious, but an important aspect is its appeal as a plaything. Twist it, straighten it, mash it. Cadbury's king here. Very high quality for mass-produced item. Nestle is second. It was always slightly inferior because they use milk powder rather than whole milk. Mars brings up the rear. Blocks are the mainstay of the chocolate industry here. Bars are second. I didn't know that. Mars used to have blocks, but don't anymore. Weird how products with the same name are different to U.S. Snickers is peanut, nougat, and caramel. Mars is the same without nuts. That's the same,
Yes.
same here. Milky Way is nougat only and has always been sold in size smaller than a Mars bar. We know of the Hobnob in Australia. We have a local variant under the name Chocolate Wheaton. It's a plain biscuit, we don't call them cookies, with shredded grains on one side and the other coated in dark chocolate. I've tried Hershey's, and those guys don't know what they're doing. If it weren't for Mars, which the last time I had any tasted comparable to here, the U.S. would have few viable options. I didn't have the opportunity to fully explore their chocolate range while I was there. Jason Painter, Sydney, Australia. Yeah, sorry, folks. Everywhere else in the world, we all agree, Hershey is awful chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not very
I cannot
good.
believe it's as popular as it is.
It's just not very good quality chocolate. Daniel J. Breck. Really enjoy the show's theme song. What is the story behind it? It's been around a long time. Not sure if you've discussed this in a prior show, but otherwise curious to know the story behind the theme song. This is from a friend of ours named, I'm trying to remember his real name. Andrew Takuda, Digital Drew. That's how I know him. He's at Digital Drew on Twitter if you want to contact him on Twitter. Andrew used to work for the magazine formerly known as Mac Addict. And he was instrumental in getting a previous version of the show on the Mac Addict CDs. Now, for you youngsters out there, magazines used to come with CDs. And so the video and the audio of the show would go on the CD. And Andrew said, you don't have any theme music. I said, well, I'm not a musician. I don't know. He said, well, I am a musician. It turns out Andrew is a very well-known game musician. His music has been in dozens and dozens of very well-known and popular video games, console games, Mac games. So he did the theme song. He did two versions of the theme song for us. The short one you see here at the beginning of the show, and the longer one you'll hear in longer segments that he did for us many years ago. Geez, probably certainly more than 10 years ago. More than 14. I'm doing the math now in my head. More than 14 years ago, Digital Drew did those for us. So check him out. He's Digital Drew on Twitter. MacMan says Digital Drew. Digital, D-R-O-O. Not Drew as in draw a picture. So keep that in mind. Good question, Daniel. Thanks very much. Let's give some stuff away. Our very own YML Prize Girl has got stuff she's giving away. What is it?
We're giving away the onepassword.com.
You have to get the microphone out of the way. There you go. What's that? One password to rule them all. Thanks very much to the nice folks at One Password. I've been drinking out of their coffee mugs all week. Agile Bits is the name of the company. What other companies? What other stuff do we have to give away?
We also have oloclip.com with their 4-in-1 lens systems that go over the top of your iPhone camera. And running with crayons, alfredapp.com.
As opposed to running with scissors.
Correct, because that's not safe to do.
It's a different company entirely. So as always, folks, you can go to our website at yourmaclifeshow.com. Right there at the top of the website, you can click on the Friends of Your Mac Life form, fill that form out, put in a real email address, and you send it off to me. That goes into our virtual prize hat, and then I do random draws every now and then for prizes for that. Or, even better, subscribe to Your Mac Life for $2, $5, $10, $15 a month, whatever you so choose. Comes out of your major credit card or out of your PayPal account. And I do the putting your name in the virtual prize hat on your behalf. And I do it automatically every single month for you. You only have to subscribe once. I do all the work of putting your name into the hat. If you don't subscribe, you got to do it yourself. every month, once a month. You're going to send me an email. So, the other thing is, if you subscribe to the show, you get extra entries depending on how much you subscribe to the show. So if you subscribe for $5, you get 2 extra entries. If you subscribe for more than that, you get more extra entries. So let me pull up the folder with all the names, the virtual prize folder. Where is it? There it is, subs. There it is. And we have the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our YML prize girl to, hang on, let me just get this thing going. And we're giving away a copy of Agile Bits 1 password. So whenever you like, you can say stop.
Stop.
All right. She pulled it up at Kuchia Consulting Group. Huh? Kuchia. The name sounds familiar. Kuchia Consulting Group, regardless.
How'd you spell that?
C-U-C-C-I-A Consulting Group. I've won a copy of 1 password, so let me just make sure I get that saved for them. Thanks very much to the nice folks at 1 Passwords. Thanks very much to Kuchia Consulting Group for subscribing to Your Mac Life. I appreciate that. You've won a copy of 1 Password. The other thing we're going to do on tonight's show, immediately after Your Mac Life, once we say goodbye, hang around if you'd like, because we're going to immediately do a Diary of a Madman show. If you haven't had a chance, go to DOAMM.com, Diary of a Madman. Kim and I have been we did 2 of those shows in the past couple of weeks. They're about 45 minutes long, and we talk about everything. This is an adult show, rated R.
R.
It's for those of you who remember Trash Talk, this is the new version of Trash Talk. So that's what you if you know about that. Otherwise, it's 2 adults talking about whatever 2 adults want to talk about. So hang around if you'd like in the IRC chat room, or stay with the audio of the show. We'll have a couple-minute break. We'll take a break for a couple minutes. I have to go pee, stuff like that. I have to get more beverages, things like that. But we're going to do a Diary of a Madman. Marcus, I can't believe DOAMM was available in 2015. It wasn't, Marcus, but I got that URL, I think, about 3 years ago. Sherry, is DOAMM still in the Hangout, Shawn, or do we have to go to the website? I don't know what you mean by that, Sherry. Just whatever you're listening to now, keep listening. That's all you got to do. Just don't do anything. Don't change anything. Yes, the Hangout. Stay in the Hangout. We'll still do video. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There was something else. Was there something else we needed to do tonight? Apple Watch. Apple Watch. You and I have been having this discussion fairly frequently about whether or not. See, now, I think this is, in my head, I find this very, very funny. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't get an Apple. I would have no interest in the Apple Watch. Because part of the interest in the Apple Watch is that communication with somebody else. And also the fitness aspect of it. You're trying to get me more fit. So now I'm kind of interested in the Apple Watch. I don't know yet if I'd buy one. And you keep waffling back and forth between whether you want one or whether you don't want one, don't you?
And the only thing holding me back is the cost.
Really? That's the only thing?
Yeah.
You've read a couple of reviews. You've skimmed them. There's nothing in there that turned you off?
No.
Or that convinced you definitely want it?
No, that hasn't swayed me one way or the other, because I always make my own mind up.
Folks, so let us know what you guys think. Are you getting an Apple Watch? Are you going to be up bright and early, or late as the case may be, on April 10th to put your pre-order in? I would say pre-order it, because you can always cancel a pre-order later if you change your mind. But if you don't pre-order it, I don't think you're going to get it on the 24th. I would go on a limb and say if you don't pre-order it on the 24th, the odds of you getting it that weekend are slim. Maybe even none. I'd say your odds of getting it for the rest of April are probably slim, if not none. I would bet that you would not be able to walk into an Apple store and get the Apple Watch of your choice probably for at least 2 weeks afterward. Now, maybe some folks can wait 2 weeks. It's not that big a deal. But I think it's going to be a while before you be able to walk into the Apple store and just pick up the Apple Watch of your choice. You also aren't sure of which Apple Watch you want to get, are you?
No, I mean, I want something that doesn't have the rubber band. That's my main thing. I don't want a rubber wristband. I don't want it to look like a swatch.
But aren't you concerned about exercise, that the rubber, the sport band is better for exercise?
No, I don't sweat.
I keep trying to get you to sweat at the gym, but you refuse.
Yep,
That's when you draw the line. I go and I help her weight train. I help her lift weights properly and get her motivated to lift weights. But as soon as she starts to sweat, that's it, I'm done. No, you're not finished. No, I'm finished. And she walks away. She won't do any more weight training once she starts to sweat. But that's the point. You got to get to the point where you're sweating. That's when you're actually exercising.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. This Sherry, YML Kim glistens.
Thank
Sly
you.
says, no Apple Watch for me. Certainly not this first go-round. Sly, really? That's interesting. I would have expected Sly to get one day of. But here's something I've heard from somebody, that it's possible to use the Apple Watch with more than one iPhone. So two people could share one watch. Now, that wouldn't be as much fun, but for the fitness tracking, maybe you could change the fitness tracking aspect of it back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that might be a bit complicated, but
I think
maybe.
it could.
We'll see.
The other thing I found out was the heartbeat thing. I don't know that anyone else mentioned it. The heartbeat, the sending the heartbeat thing, it doesn't last for 4 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever it is. It lasts as long as you're touching the watch.
Oh, because you could be really annoying then.
Sly says, it's too expensive and I don't need it. Sly, you bought iMacs for less than that. For more than that. They were too expensive and you didn't need them. At one point, Sly had 5 computers in her home.
In each room.
No, all in the same frickin' room. All in the same desk. She had 2 laptops. She had an iMac, probably at least 2 iMacs. She just had all kinds of computers. See, I think you should pre-order it, and then you've got 2 weeks to decide whether or not you actually want to pay for it. You know, like I said, you can always cancel it later.
I don't think Apple will want you to do that.
If they didn't want you to do it, they wouldn't let you do it. They don't mind you doing it. Sly says, not that need has ever mattered with Apple lust. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sly, Monty wants to know what 5 computers you had. He says, I didn't picture Sly as that much of a nerd. She has nerd. She's not a nerd, but she has nerd tendencies. Okay, folks, that's it for this show. Again, if you want to hang around, we're going to continue in the same IRC chat room. We're going to continue in the same Google Hangout. Kim and I are going to do Diary of a Madman just here momentarily, but we've got to get out of this one. So there we go, folks. That's it. Thanks very much to our good friend Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com for joining us. Thanks very much to all these great companies for giving us prizes to give away on the show.
Yes, thank you to all of them. You want me to name them all? Again? Running with Crayons, not scissors. Oloclip.com. OnePassword.com. And last week's winner was Pad and Quill.
Thanks very much to those guys for letting us give stuff away. Hopefully we'll have even more stuff to give away in the weeks and months to come. So that's it, folks. Until next week, she's been
Kim.
And I've been Shawn King, and you've been listening to Your Mac Life. See ya. I heard you. Wrong, Shawn. That's better.